Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. This was really an unplanned video. I was just sitting here minding my own business, sewing in the signatures for my 2025 planner, and things were going along so smoothly, so well. I thought, you know what? I should just turn on the camera and wow you with my with my talent, because Lord knows I certainly don't shield you from the things that I screw up or the mistakes I make or the lessons I learn. And of course, you know, the minute you get a thought like that, the minute you realize, uh-oh, there is something that didn't go as planned. Anyway, let me bring you up to speed. You may remember, if you saw that video on my antique mall purchases, you will remember that I picked up this book, kind of overpaid for it, I would say. But I liked it because what I'm using in 2024 is this traditional Reader's Digest. I must have made a bigger spine, but I'm finding that I've had to compress my days the last few, probably the last month or more, to make sure I don't run out of space. So that's why I thought this one with the wider spine is going to be the cat's meow, and I won't have that issue. And the spine is still intact, and it says fun and laughter, which I attempt to have and promote in my life. So as much as I do have to say, if there's anything I don't like about this, it's this pukey color. Yeah, it's like sort of baby diarrhea color. Anyway, that beside the point. I had removed the signatures. Typically I would have probably used a fabric to reinforce the spine because I wanted a hidden spine, because obviously if I had all these signature threads covering that, then what was the point of the book, of that title? So I picked this, scrapbooking cardstock weight, because I thought that was okay. So this is what I wanted to show you. First of all, I kept adding pages, and obviously some of these needed to be folded back or cut off or whatever. But I kept adding pages. I have 6 signatures, which is not usually what I would recommend. I think it tends to be easier to use an odd number when you're figuring out the spacing off your template. But I made this work. So when you have 6 signatures times 15 pages per signature, that's well over 300 sides. I can't remember, 3, is it 3? What the heck? Okay, 6. Okay, here, I'm going to wow you with my math. 6 times 15 is 90, so 90 times 4 is 360. So that's very close to almost a page a day. Now, you may see those nice, neat holes. I did that with the 1/8 setting on my crocodile. I think it would have been, gee, my lips are chapped. Sorry, I just need to, a little dabble do me. I think it would have been quite a bit uglier if I would have been trying to poke my needle through holes that were less clear and distinct. So that was one thing. And then I decided, as I looked through my little pouch of, and of course this is not the full extent of what I have available, I sometimes make the mistake of picking something that is too thick. So I thought, okay, don't do that. And I like this. I like the neutrality of it. But you can see, even at home, I'm sure how shiny this is, which somehow I think also means that it's very slippery. So that has been a challenge. And I was thinking, you know, when I was having a little fumble fingers and these overgrown nails, I was thinking, oh, I'm so glad nobody's seeing this. Anyway, I thought I owed you this last, actually first signature. I tend to start sewing in from the back. I have a number of these oversized clips. I had enough and more to do all, to have all the signatures clipped and ready to go. So I always start in the middle from the inside. Now, you'll notice that I didn't do the 3 times the height of the book thing because, number one, you waste a lot of thread that way, and there was no real need to do that. So, and you know, this obviously is going to be a big book and kind of a handful to juggle here. But I was pleased with how the, you know, the needle went through so beautifully through the holes. Okay, so now this is what was the biggest challenge here. Because this is slippery, now I could have taken the extra step of waxing the thread, but that seemed kind of labor intensive. Now, okay, so I didn't go through the whole sequence here of, I guess I could just quickly repeat it for the new people. In through the center, up through the top. From this hole across to the third one, the bottom one, and then up through, back through the middle. So then you must make sure that one tail is on either side of this center string here. And then you can gently but firmly tug in opposing directions. Now, if this was different kind of thread, it wouldn't be quite as tricky here. So I just eased off the pressure and it all kind of slid apart. So I'm keeping as much firm pressure on this side as I can. I obviously have to let go a little bit so I could work this thread around to get the knot sort of loose and ready. And then I'm going to try, and this is the tricky part, and I'm glad I didn't do all 5 with you, trying my best to tighten the living daylights out of that. Now, I'm not sure, I could probably do a bit better. And I did have to take one knot apart, and I was amazed at how easy that, look at that, how easy that knot came apart. I think that's tighter. So in this case, it's absolutely critical that a person does the 2 or 3 knots. Let me just cut this and get rid of this. And then in the beginning, I lost sight of what I was doing. And I was leaving tails that are too long, thinking, oh, I got to add a charm. Well, I'm not going to be adding charms into this book. This is my workhorse of a planner book that I use, you know, every day for the entire year. So I wanted, okay, the other thing to keep in mind if you are new to sewing in signatures, number one, that's not a good thing. Some of these clips are better than others. Some are plastic coated, so this part doesn't dig in and tear the page like that just did. Okay, let's go back and trim these center. And for a while there, even though it was hidden in plain sight, I could not find my bone folder. Anyway, it's a good idea to sort of go in and, you know, sort of flatten these things out a bit. Anyway, I want to just quickly trim those threads. See, that one's kind of loose. Maybe after the video, I'll just go in and retie that one. I do not like when there is up and down movement in a signature. See, that one seems to be good. Now, I don't wonder if these darn things have loosened up just since I... See, that one is perfect. So there might be a couple that I'm going to have to redo, which is a pain in the you-know-where. However, better than a loosey-goosey sewing job. Now, I think that looks pretty damn good. And of course, the next step is going to be to glue this, slather this with glue, center it in the actual spine area, glue it down, and so on. Now, I'm not obviously going to do that in this video because I want to see if I can tighten some of these up. However, I'm kind of, you know, I hate to say bragging, but I'm kind of, you know, saying, oh, look at what a brilliant job I did. Fear not, I did make a mistake. As I was making my signatures, I sort of had them arranged, you know, stacked up the way I wanted to. Well, because I start sewing in from the back, I sewed them in reverse order. So I thought that this moose and these stark trees would be like this sort of the end of the year. And that these beautiful orchids would be the start of the year. Now, in the scheme of things, it's not going to matter. The pages are essentially just plain. But it's just a reminder that if I was really wed to the idea of having these signatures in a particular order, because maybe it really made sense. Now, of course, this could also represent January, February, March in Canada as well. Snowy landscape. Then the thing to remember is make sure that the stack of signatures is in the order in which you intend to sew them. This would have worked out fine if I would have started sewing them in from the front of the book. But because I did that in reverse, these ended up being in reverse. Now, again, the planet is not going to stop rotating on its axis because of that. Not a biggie at all. But it can be an annoyance. So I just wanted you to be aware of them. Okay, with my grip, let me just give this a little wiggle test. Oh yeah, see, that one is loose. And that is annoying because, maybe I can just quickly do this while I'm still talking here. That is annoying because, and look at how easy that comes apart. I think what I'm going to end up doing, let me just pull that out right now as a reminder. I'm going to add Fabri-Tac to that, to each knot once I get them to the point. So, you know, it is a consideration. I guess let this be a lesson to you that selecting your fibers is is a combination of aesthetics, color, but it also has to do the job for which it was intended. And slippery threads, now I do have wax, but I think it would be kind of impossible to wax it at this point. So let's just see if I can do this. And I swear that I did the guitar string plucking test as I did each of these. But you can see that this is crazy stuff. Even though the color was good, the weight was good. It functionally, it's probably a D- without some mitigating. I think that's going to be not work, so let me do this again. I should show you, because I do have some in here. I bought, this is waxed thread. I bought this at Michael's when I first got into this business. I suppose I should have used that, but I also have upholstery thread because it is, upholstery, Coates and Clark. I bought spools of this. Now this is very, very thin, which can almost serve the purpose of tearing the paper if you're not careful. So anyway, I have to say, one of the things I have not used very often is embroidery floss. Now, that could be an option. I guess I just think that, oh, that's going to be such a pain in the butt with all the plies. I think I'm going to add the little dab of glue immediately. Again, I don't know who the sailors out there can tell me. Are those square knots? So I do them in the opposite direction. If that, I didn't explain that well. So if you do left over right, then do right over left for the next one. And then the third one will be the same as whatever you did the first time. Okay, I'm going to put this blob here. That shouldn't do any harm if I close it. I'm going to put a little blob there. Now the nice thing about using thinner fibers, let's give this the wiggle test, is that, ooh, that is good, is that, and especially if you've used the crocodile to make the holes, the thread almost, sinks into the hole there and disappears. When I have used thicker fibers, oh, that one's not good. Sometimes you end up with this humongous knot, especially if you have tied it 3 times. No, I said I wasn't going to do that. I should just... Okay, let me glue the ones that are good while they're still good. And then I'll do the others off camera. Yeah, that's good. And it's funny because my technique is the same from signature to signature. So do I just have this culprit to worry about? Two more to tighten up again. Like, this is craziness. Anyway, I will leave it there. I will finish this on my own time. And once, well, you will see the planner at some future date. Obviously, the page, and this, by the way, is sent to drawer liner paper. And I used quite a few. I don't think I told you or showed you my selection of papers. I love this green paper, and it had a red edge to it. I use several of those pads that you can get for planning purposes. So that is one style. This is another. This was a third. It was like kind of a mouse pad type scenario. This, oh, I'm showing you all the ugly side, or the plain sides. I love this so much. And I've been hoarding it, but hoard no more. And this is the other side of that other paper that I showed you. I think that represents all. So this is wallpaper. This is drawer paper, drawer liner. And this is wallpaper. I can't remember who gave me these wallpapers. But again, in my mission to use it, don't store it. I think Carol gave me this. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. I will let you get on with your day, and I've got some retying to do. So I hope that has been somewhat helpful to you. Don't be afraid of multi-signature books. Oh, one thing I will remind you of too is when you've got that many holes, you have to virtually every time you poke a needle through the hole is make sure you're in the right row. Well, you know what I could do? I could also add glue here. No, I won't do that because that'll get slathered with glue once I'm gluing it into the book. Okay, guys, I will stop there, and at some point you'll see this when it's completed. So thank you so much for being here, and happy signature sewing. Bye.